What up, good people? Welcome to the Bro Code Show. It's your boy, Bro Troy, aka Mr. Y4C, better known as Coach TJ. And tonight's show is sponsored by the great people at Drive Shack. Man, fellas, I can't say but so much about this organization, especially after yesterday, man. Yesterday was mind-blowing, but make sure you go visit your local Drive Shack for the ultimate golf experience, no matter the occasion, whether it's a date night, corporate event, or a night with the friends of the family. You won't be disappointed. Now, for those who are new to the Bro Code Show is a live talk show created to discuss, uncover, justify, and dismantle the issues that concern us most as brothers, as family, and as a community. And we like to give that to you raw, uncut, and real respectful. Now, our greatest desire is to embrace everyone in positive, popular conversation. So now we're not in the business of bashing or belittling anyone, but we do believe in being comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. Why? Because that's where understanding starts. So as grandma would say, let's chew the meat and spit out the bone. Real quickly, though, please go to the Bro Code Show. It's on Instagram at Bro Code Show right now. Use those thumbs. Like, share, comment to find out more about some of the conversations that we've had. We're like 45 conversations in. We've talked to some really awesome people. So please go to at Bro Code Show on Instagram or go to our YouTube page, YM4C Space TV, to keep up with all of the awesome conversations that we have, man. So, fellas, I feel like I've got hit by a Mack truck, man. I got a kink in my neck, and my ankles are swollen from standing up for about 8 hours yesterday, but well, actually longer than that, man. But anyway, nonetheless, we here, man. Always good to see you guys. Love y'all like cook food, man. How you feeling, Bro Smith?
I'm tired myself. What Brother Troy is alluding to, as you know, Kirk, is I had to spend more time than I'm accustomed to in Chapel Hill territory the other day. For all those that know me, I'm a NC State alum, Wolfpack to the core, bleed, that red and white. And we were in the concession stand, helping out as part of a litany. And I think we'll spend a little time afterwards talking through it. But saw a lot of people come through, a lot of chicken sandwiches go out, a lot of hot dogs, and I wish I would have eaten before I did that experience. That was a long time to be around food, giving it to other people without eating it yourself. But I had fun. It was good to give back.
You talk about self-control and delayed gratification. We was delayed a whole lot, right? So, indeed, bro. Kirk, how you feeling, brother?
Yeah, man, little tired myself. It was a great experience, though. Actually working side by side with the young men, right? And just like pretty much just kind of watching them do their thing. And they really just jumped in there, man, and showed up. And I think that was consistent over, I don't know how many young men we had there, but 30 or 40. And they all just seemed to be, ready to do what they had to do. So, man, it was a good time, but I'm a little tired for sure.
Oh, yeah. Indeed, man. Indeed. So shout out to Jeremiah and Joseph White. Those were, and of course, my son Tyson. Those were the three high schoolers that we had yesterday that showed up and show out. And of course, Jeremiah and Joseph's mom, Monique, shout out to you guys. They texted me earlier this morning and were just excited about the experience. And the mom was really excited because she saw another element of their son show up in moments of resiliency and having to overcome controversy and then suck it up, Buttercup, and like really continue to move forward, man. So really proud of those dudes, and we look forward to making sure that they are rewarded very kindly for their efforts, man. Service is definitely a lifestyle, and we made that very apparent yesterday all day, not just that UNC Chapel Hill, man. So anyway, man, that's what makes us tick, man. That's why we do what we do. So anyway, Kurt, what's going on in the world, bro? What you got?
Yeah, so we got a couple of instances of things we want to pull up. Go ahead and pull up the one. I'm really excited about this story here, Troy.
Is this the one we're talking about? Since we're in football?
Yeah. Maya Chaka, the first Black referee in the NFL. Now, she's not new to the game. She's just new to NFL. She's done a lot of refereeing within the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever you want to call it, but she knows what she's doing. Man, this is a really good story, Troy, when we talk about representation. And I'm really excited to see how well she does. But just having that image. Now, she's the third referee, third woman referee in the NFL, but the first Black. So what do y'all think about the story?
Well, I think it's awesome, man. For one, it reminds me that this is day one, or the first day of the weekend of NFL football. Cowboys have already lost. Washington football team's already lost. Eagles won, but we won't talk about that. And my team is fighting right now, but it's cool just to see. It's a little frustrating that we're in 2021 and we're still talking about first.
Right.
Whether it be Black females or Black males, but the fact that she's in to push in another generation and have other ladies of color looking and aspiring to do just that, I think that's a powerful image.
Yeah, just to add value to that, I agree with you, JC, that we're still having that conversation, but I'm glad we're having a conversation, right? So went to Norfolk, graduated from Norfolk State, HBCU in the building, baby. That was my second home for a while, man. So that was really interesting to see. I'm quite sure she does many things going back there, and like you just spoke of, continuing to encourage that next generation, man. What else we got, Kurt?
The second story,
yeah,
it hit me a little bit, man. I consider Michael Williams a friend, and I mean that. I mean that seriously, man. Watching him on The Wire and his portrayal of Omar Little, right? It's one of my favorite shows of all time. But sadly, he died over an overdose. And the thing that hit me most is even with his fame and money and notoriety, he wasn't able to get away from his past. It was revealed that he was molested as a young child. And I just have to wonder, first of all, about how much of that he was carrying and how much of that had to go into his drug use and how much had he dealt with on the inside. And it's still that conversation we want to continue to talk about. Black men, men in general, but Black men, we have to talk about what's going on the inside, emotionally.
Yeah. What you think, Jay?
Well, I have a little mini confession. I have not finished watching The Wire. I got stuck in season 2, and I can never make it through, man. It was just so slow to me. I just couldn't make it through. But that will be a goal of mine, so to speak, to knock that out before the end of the year. I'm gonna give myself at least a couple months to get. It's like 7 seasons, but it's tragic. You never like seeing anybody go out. He's doing a lot of good work, and certainly a talented man, talented actor. But blessings and prayers up to his family and friends. So.
Indeed, man. And when you think about that image of so-called fame and the weight that it carries, because you're under the microscope of many, because your name rings bells, because Omar coming, right? So, when that's a lot of pressure, a lot of weight, man. And that's why it's important. I'm glad that we're having conversations like the one we're going to begin this month, because that speaks volume as to why it's continue to important. So I agree, man. Many prayers out to the little family, man. And last but not least, man, Grandma says a poor frog can't praise his own pond. And anybody should be able to speak positively about you. It should be you. And, it may not yet be global news. However, we're going to speak things and prepare. So I look forward to this one, man. The 28th of this month, as the Bro Code, as change agents, we always challenge ourselves to set trends. And, this one I look forward to being no different and taking a platform like we're on now and presenting this thing that we call Table Talks. Now, this is an exclusive invite-only live production which will bring together prominent leaders across all sectors of business and philanthropy in conjunction with our youth leaders, our young leaders, for intimate facilitated conversation over an elegant 3-course meal at probably arguably one of the most prestigious restaurants here in downtown Raleigh in the form of Second Empire. Now, parts of this in-person event, it's going to be broadcasted live right here on social media and Facebook, just so our viewers will have enjoyment and to be able to connect to this robust executive exclusive conversation. So look forward to that, man. I think this right here changes the element. Like, we know that we have created a lane for courageous conversations, now doing it different, over a meal in the Capitol Room at Second Empire. So I'm really excited about that. I spoke with Chef Scurry last week, and, we did an event there in March with young men, the etiquette event. And I think this will be no different as far as the impact and the game-changing elements we'll see there, man. What do you guys think about that?
I'm excited just to get beyond the screen in person, some live events, talking around a table with some pretty powerful people, some of which may have some significant influence in our own city. So I'm excited. I have a number of questions already on my mind that I'm going to throw at some folks, and I certainly want to present it to the world and see what comes out of it for the next conversation.
Indeed. How about you, Kurt?
Same, man. I think that being able to do this virtually is a blessing, but it actually being in room, arm in arm with people who are doing some of the same work but different, and having those conversations courageously, I think it just stretches the narrative. And so I think I'm really excited about it. And I don't know, not too many people get to go to the Second Empire and do that kind of work. So really excited about that blessing.
Hey, man, we dare to be different, bro. We are Y4C, man. So, gentlemen, greatness comes by way of a collective effort. And tonight, gentlemen, is no different, man. Like last month, we had an opportunity to talk about the impact that coaches make on lives. And we talked about it from several different spectrums. We focused on the guests. We're more focused on the game of football, but we've talked about all sports. And, tonight we have the pleasure of chopping it up with a gentleman who can really speak to that personally. Coaching has saved his life. And now he coaches others through mindset and active lifestyle transformation. Now, his government name is Laylo M. Williams. Now, to some, he may be known as Beast Mode MotiVatior, but tonight, he'll be Coach Laylo. So I introduce to some and present to others my man, Coach Laylo. Coach, what's good, brother? How you feeling, Doc? Uh-oh, hold on. We got a mute monster. Hold on. There it is.
There you go. There you go. What's going on, guys? What's going on?
What's happening? Beast mode. So Laylo, man, it's good to have you. I got you. I can see you, man. We can hear you. We got you loud and clear, man. So, Coach, I'm curious, man, for those that may have never heard the sound of your voice, who is Coach Laylo at the core?
At the core of me, guys, I'm basically a young black man who's a father, who's a man that loves God, who's a boyfriend, a dad, a friend, but basically I'm just a guy that wants to see other people do well, just want to see people do well. And I think nowadays that's something that you don't really see genuinely a lot. A lot of times people have that ulterior motive, but right now with me, especially after what I've gone through life-wise, I have a whole different frame of mind when it comes down to things. But to the core of me, I'm just a guy who wants to see people do well, and that's pretty much it.
Hey, man, I certainly can dig it. We're definitely going to dig into that mindset too and that resiliency. So glad to have you, brother. So Bro Smith, let's chew the meat, spit out the bone.
Yeah. So as you said, we talked to a number of influential people, learned all about really what makes them tick and why coaching is such a passion for them. Now, you may not know it, but everybody in a sense can be their own coach. May not be certified, but we've been coaching ourselves since we can remember. As a child, you coach yourself on how to get back up on that playground after you might have fallen off the climbing bars and scraped your knee. And that stems from your ability to harness your inner wisdom and experiences that make choices that are best for you. But there's nothing wrong with viewing yourself as a work in progress. And we're all at one time or the other on a stage of a very long journey towards self-improvement and development. However, from time to time, we all need help. And that's where the coaches, mentors, podcasts, books, etc. are the key. It's essentially finding an outlet to transform some aspect of your life. As you all know, I'm a pretty avid reader, and there's several benefits of looking into those sort of self-help books. Every time I go into it, you're like, oh man, I know this stuff. But to hear it put in a variety of different ways, it shines a light. It puts the reader on a path where you can read, practice the strategies that are learned, and make improvements in your life without necessarily having to ask others for help. One of my favorites is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, which highlights the traits and habits that are found and invites others to learn and master them. And so, Coach Williams or Laylo, I want to start with you. Maybe we go around the horn real quick. I'm curious to know, what are some of the people or books or resources that you're currently looking into to support self-development?
Well, one of the books that I've picked up recently, it's been out for a little while. I actually have it right here. It's Life Overflowing with T.D. Jakes. He talks a lot in this book about just resurrection. Talk about resurrection, talking about you dying to your old self. And that was something that, really resonated with me after what I went through when it comes down to the widowmaker heart attack, for those who don't know. And another book was this other book called Super Carb Life. And it's a book by Barb Harper. Barb Harper is actually one of the trainers from The Biggest Loser, the show The Biggest Loser. But that's not what I want to highlight about Barb Harper. With Barb Harper, what ended up happening with him was he experienced the same exact type of heart attack that I experienced, which is called a widowmaker heart attack. For those who don't know, a widowmaker heart attack, it's only about 12% of people who even live, after having this type of heart attack. Not to mention live to talk about it and the talk. And I actually was conscious the whole time through what I went through. And I don't know if you guys want me to go into details now or hold off a little later. But when I tell you, this thing changed my life in ways that's unimaginable, I'm talking about ways that's unimaginable. And it's a lot of things that us guys don't really like to talk about, like our feelings. And one thing that I'm sharing, openly is I went through so many emotions from going through this life-changing event. It was a time where I felt like I was depressed. I felt like I was confused. I felt like I was frustrated. It was so many mixed emotions that I went through after going through this, just trying to be like, why me? Why me? Especially after I had, already thinking I was doing the right thing, by losing weight and all this other stuff, but didn't know that it was some genetic stuff that was going on that actually led up to this, which goes back to us as being men. Don't go to the doctor. We don't want to be proactive. We wait till things happen. We wait till it hurts so bad that we can't help it no more. We got that. That's when we got to go. But I'm telling you, one of my messages that I like to throw out there to people is be proactive, especially us as men. We need to be around. We got to take care of ourselves. That's one of the main things I like to just keep throwing out there to people. And like I said, my life is something that I constantly talk about now because of what I went through, and try to give other people that push, that motivation, that hope, that, throwing tidbits of nuggets out there for them just to think about. Because some people, they're not gonna swallow it and take it in, by you trying to force it. You have to kind of give them a little bit. What they said, get a cow, let it chew up the cud a little bit, let it chew a little bit, let it chew a little bit. But we don't want you to spit this back out. We're giving it to you so that way you can take this thing and digest it. We don't want you to be a baby no more and keep drinking that milk. We want to give you some meat, something that you could actually grow up on. So that's what I'm saying. This thing is when I'm telling you this health thing is serious, this health thing is serious. I've been doing this since 2013, guys, 2013. And what's interesting, I still want to ask you guys, how did you even find me?
Well, we gonna get to that one too, Laylo, because we can't give them all 8 years right now. Okay. Yeah, so I'm curious, what do you think, Kurt? What's some resources you're using right now to better yourself and really promote self-improvement?
Yeah. So I love, first of all, man, I love the energy, and there's nothing like a life-changing event to bring something out that we can't put back in, right? I'm very big on the whole man or the whole person. So also, I think starting with the spiritual side, I can't not have that. And so Stephen Furtick is my go-to for that. But then I got to be physical. So David Goggins is my guy when it goes to mindset, right? And my emotions and things like that, I deal with Jay Shetty. So having a balance of different people that I can kind of call distant mentors to help me to see life different, that's what I do. So absolutely.
Good stuff. How about you, Bro Smith?
I like right now the Audible books. Kevin Hart had a good one that came out not too long ago, where it wasn't even a book. It was strictly for the audio version, where each chapter he's going through a litany of topics, and he's getting through them in like 3 to 5 minutes. But it's packaged in a way that's funny, that's compelling, and that I can identify with, and it kept me wanting to know and learn more. So where that would be one, and like I said, the Stephen Covey one is one to where I can always go back to that. You know, it's kind of timeless. It's been out there for a hot minute, but every now and then I just got to flip through the pages to reaffirm some things that I thought I knew, but I may need a little bit of a refresher, to say the least.
Yeah. I definitely can dig that. You know, obviously we're purpose-driven people, and right now, you know, with our mission of sparking creative mindsets in the young and the young at heart, really challenging myself to sharpen my skills, you know, towards the work that we do at Y4C. So one of the books that I'm currently reading, like yourself, I agree with you, Kurt, Inside Out, right? What believes on the inside bleeds on the outside. So working on the core and then developing from there. Mine is Mentor Like Jesus. It was written by Reggie Campbell. Shout out to Philip. Philip was with us last night on that journey at UNC. He actually gifted this to me just when I met him, and we had great similarities. He was like, man, I got something for you that's really helped me. I want to pass this on to you. And I really appreciate it because the author, Reggie Campbell, he challenges readers to live in a space of intentionality. And fellas, we use that word all the time. So to hear, you know, that within the pages, to hear, and that is as something that is reflected upon when trying to sharpen those skills, it really hit home for me. You know, another word is transparency, and then of course consistency, and all of those things when pouring into the next generation were hit upon in this book by Reggie. So shout out to him. Reggie also, what really connected with him, I dug a little deeper because I wanted to know more. But he was an experienced, he's deceased, but he was an experienced investor and entrepreneur. He founded 15 companies. And he also established Radical Mentoring Organization back in 2007, using those same principles that I'm reading in this book. He has another one called Radical Wisdom. But mentoring was his real passion, and he left breadcrumbs for the next generation to follow, and I could really dig that. So anyway, Kurt, man, what you got, brother? What you got going on?
Yeah, you know, when we talk about healthy lifestyle and then active lifestyle, it's been something that has been kind of a struggle, especially in our community, but it's very important. And so it's something that all of us talk about, but it's something that you have to own and have accountability for. And I don't share a story much, but in 2003, I thought I had a heart attack. And I was in the hospital for about a week, and they found out I was something else, but I never forgot the feeling of thinking that I was dying. I couldn't sleep. It was all these emotions as our coach Laylo has talked about. So I never forgot that. And it's still with me today. So Coach Laylo, I really want to know, you didn't just end up, right, with a widowmaker heart attack. It was something that led you to that. You said genetics, but what kind of lifestyle were you leading before that? Can you paint a picture for us of what kind of lifestyle led to that heart attack?
How much time do you have? No, just kidding. So this is what's interesting about me. You know, most people, they actually have something like this that happened to them that happens because, you know, the lifestyle that they were living and so forth. But what happened with me actually came out of nowhere. You know, I actually had started getting healthier since 2013, since the birth of my son. So this wasn't something that, I seen coming any way, shape, or form. I had changed my diet up. You know, I was eating a lot better, eating what I thought was, good, healthy food. I had dropped a lot of weight. Because what happened was 2013, I kind of take you back how this thing really got started with me. 2013, my son was born. I was in church one Sunday, and I heard the pastor say, look, you need to have balanced victory in every area of your life. And that sat with me in a different way. I was like, man, you know what? I do got victory in my area of finances, my area of this, my area of that. But the area of my health was the area that I was losing in. I was like, man, I walked so far and then I'm out of breath. It's like, I knew that I was out of shape. So I'm one of those kind of people where, you don't have to tell me something over and over and over again for me to get it. So after that Sunday, I got it. And I'm talking about that next Monday morning, I got up at like 4:15 in the morning and I started hitting the gym up every day. almost every day. I'm talking about 5 to 6 days a week. And, you know, I dropped a lot of weight. I want to say at that time, you know, I dropped maybe about 50, 60, 70 pounds. But people thought I had lost a lot more weight than I actually had. But what I was focused on, it was more of me focused on building muscle and burning fat. You know, when you focus on building muscle and burning fat, it changes your body composition. And it looks like you've lost a lot more than you've lost. But I was focused more on health. I wasn't focused on weight. I was focused on health. So what ended up happening was, you know, fast forward, I worked down in the gym for probably about 2 years. And then someone came across my path that was doing the Beachbody at home workouts. And, you know, and it was like, you know what, by you having a small child, this may be something that you could look into. I was like, you know what, I might need to look into this. I was like, because this really becoming cumbersome for me to be getting up early in the morning, leaving the house, you know, then trying to work out and get back home before it was time for, you know, someone to go to work and all this other stuff. So I was like, so I got involved with Beachbody. And that's how I actually became a coach, you know, working out with Beachbody, and ended up, you know, getting people linked up to the different programs of them. And I was linked to Beachbody from 2016 all the way up to present. So, but with the Beachbody programs, people think it don't work. It's not that it don't work. It's that you got to put the work in order for it to work. You know, you got to be accountable in order for this thing to work. So I started doing the programs like Insanity and P90X, and I was going hard. And this thing, and I started seeing some results. I was like, oh man, this thing look like it's doing something different to me. You know, and not knowing that it really was doing something not only to my outer appearance, but it was doing something to my inner. Because what was happening when I was doing these intense programs, it was making my heart strong. And I didn't realize it at that time. It was making my heart strong because what happened was, you know, when fast forward to 2019, March, I remember it like yesterday. Most people like, man, I don't even remember what happened to me. I remember exactly what happened to me. I was conscious and everything what happened. You know, I'm talking about the day of, I had just did a training. Because for my full-time job, I would say, I actually do training. I actually put together 40-hour training that the first responders go to that teach them about mental health disorders, substance use disorders, developmental disabilities, all of that. So when they do come in contact with individuals, they'll know how to handle those situations. So I had just did a training that day. You know, and it was end of the day, class was over with. And next thing you know, I was getting stuff set up for the next day. You know, and then what happened, I bust out sweating. Like I had been working for like 3-4 hours or something. That's the kind of I bust out. And I'm sitting up here like, what is going on? I had never felt like this before, you know, and I'm actually like, what was going on with me? I didn't know. And taking my training is upstairs in the building. So I was like, next thing you know, it felt like a ton of bricks had boom, bust me in my chest. And I'm sitting up here like, oh my God, I've never felt like this before. You know, so I'm technically at this moment actively having a heart attack. So I actually walked down 2 flights of stairs to get downstairs, you know. Oh my God.
You're still with us. We can still hear you.
Okay, looks like my son's little friend was trying to connect with him on Messenger while I'm on the call. So I was walking downstairs, and I got outstairs, and I walked across to the other side of the building. And on the other side of the building, you had to put a code in the door. Thankfully, I knew the code to the door. Put the code in the door. I walked through the door. Then the captain of EMS's office is right there, because EMS is in the building that I had my training in. And they had just moved into that building. They normally wouldn't be in that building. They had just moved into that building. So they were still moving stuff in. It just so happened the captain of EMS office was right there. And she's one of my partners that I work with. I walk into her office drenched. And she's like, she looked at me. I said, oh, I don't feel good. She said, oh my God, Laylo, you look like you having a heart attack. I was like, what? Me? I ain't having no heart attack. Thinking mine now. I done lost all this weight. You know, I'm pumping my chest like I done did something big. How in the world is this happening to me? She's like, no, looking at you right now, after doing what we do, you are having a heart attack right now. So she gave me, she's like, take these 5 baby aspirin. I took 5 baby aspirin. She told the guy, hey, Phil, get the bag. She was like, get the bag, get this, get that. So she started that thing rolling, boy. She was like, yeah, we got to get you to where you need to get to ASAP. She was like, you always take care of us and make sure we're good. Now it's our turn to take care of you, make sure that you're good. So I was like, oh my God, I just feel horrible. So she started asking me, the different questions or whatever, that they have to ask. And I know the guy from EMS asked me 50 million times on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? I was like, man, I feel horrible. I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 12. I ain't never felt no mess like this before. So the guy was like, oh my God. So, they called, the ambulance came or whatever. And even in the back of the ambulance, the guy kept asking me on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? I said, man, look, I ain't gonna tell you no more. It's a 12. It's a 12. I said, but the thing about it is, by me working in mental health, it helped me out in that particular situation. Because what happened was, I actually told him I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. I said, I'm gonna keep my eyes closed because I know in a traumatic situation like this, what you see and touch and hear and everything can affect you long term, if you actually, allow yourself to. So I'm gonna keep my eyes closed so it actually decreases my, chances with all of that. And they got me to the hospital. Long story short, they rushed me back to the cath lab. And me and my little self, I had on this polo shirt, right? And they started cutting my shirt off. I was like, hold up, don't cut my shirt off. So
not the polo.
Sometimes you have to find some things about your old self just to be able to laugh at your old self, man. I was like, man, don't cut off the polo. So it was interesting when I tell my coworkers about the story, they all go put together and get me another polo shirt after everything was over with. So it was interesting about how all of that worked. But thank God, I actually coded twice, guys. I coded twice on the table that day. The second time I actually felt my body jump up off the table. When they put those electrical things on you or whatever, and I actually felt my body jerk up. Now, some people have all these stories. Oh, I saw the white light and all this other stuff. No, I ain't saw no white light or none of that. But I did feel my body jerk up off the table after that second time of them getting me back. They said it was really tough to get me back that second time.
Well, Lo, I'm curious, man, because we're talking about out of body experiences. When we talk about life-changing experiences, I understand, I get it. Mine was more self-inflicted, if you may, but nonetheless, things that happen that change the way that you see life, man. So if you're just checking in with the Bro Code Show, we're chopping it up with Beast Mode MotiVatior, Coach Laylo. Now, Coach Lo overcame the adversity of obesity that led to March 14th of 2019, the day that he had a widowmaker heart attack. Now fighting back for his health and also helping others along the way. Now, so far, we've talked about the tools that we use for self-development and the tenacity that it takes to overcome adversity. But I'm curious, Lo, talk to me about the fruits of the labor. Like, you done talked about beach, body. You don't use words like accountability. You don't bust in the EMS chief looking like you've been swimming in a swimming pool and you went through all of these experiences. And from that, you made a decision. You made a choice to say, you know what, I love me more. And love is an action word. So guess what? I'm going to get up and do something about it. It could have been really easy for you to tuck your tail. And because I can only assume, do you have a scar on your chest where they had to go inside of you?
And what's interesting is they actually did a what do you call it, catheter or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they did a catheter in me or whatever. So I really didn't even have a scar on me. After all of that, they put the caffeine or whatever and got my arteries open back up, wow, unclogged or whatever. So I didn't have a scar at first.
Wow, man,
but I do have a scar now. And the reason I have a scar now, though, is because I ended up having to get a defibrillator placement.
That makes sense. And the reason I ask that is because when you think about a traumatic situation of this extent, Matter of fact, I have two friends in my lifetime that have went through that similar situation and have that scar, man, that remembrance, So I'm curious, man, out of all the things that you do now, not just for yourself, but more importantly for others, right? The sense of servitude as a coach, for those that look to you for motivation, but tell me about the fruits of that labor. Tell me about some of the individuals that you've had a pleasure now of helping them through their life-changing active lifestyle transformation.
Man, when I tell you, you get a different sense of fulfillment, when you see people that was like especially morbidly obese and so forth, and you just knowing that you have actually been a part of seeing them along the way to actually, start making progress. And then the sense of pride that these people have on their face, when they feel themselves feeling better, when they tell you, hey, my back don't hurt as much anymore. My knees don't hurt that much anymore. That's like, Coach, thank you so much for just the things that you share and the things that you're telling me. And, and I said, no, you got to thank you. I said, you got to thank you. You know how many people I say the same thing to over and over again and they don't listen? I was like, so many times this thing falls on deaf ears. I was like, you got to realize, I was like, God gave each one of us a purpose. And I was like, your purpose, it's linked up to your health. I was like, you got to realize, your health is a vehicle you got to ride in for the rest of your life. I was like, you could get a new job. You could get a new car. You can get a new house. I said, but your health is something you got to be with for the rest of your life. And when you really get to start speaking to people to heart, it's a whole different kind of connection. And then, like I said, when you see people start making progress, I think of somebody right now, one of the guys that I've been working with, he's been with me for years. He was really a big dude, really big dude, but then, he started, like I said, it's almost like he believed in me almost before it was a Coach Laylo. You know what I'm saying? He believed in me before it was a heart attack or any of that. And and it was like, because of the relationship that we have, it's almost like I believed in him in a whole different kind of way. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but that it was a whole different kind of connection. And this guy, when I tell you now, this guy gets up before I do. He gets up before I do. I know he got to get up at about 4 o'clock every morning. And I'm seeing him banging it out, and I'm seeing his size steady dropping. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Now I feel like I'm just everybody hype man. I feel like I'm everybody hype man. I done planted some seeds and a couple of little nuggets. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna water it a little bit. Let me water it a little bit. I want you to be the best you that you could be. I'm talking about this thing doesn't work unless you work. Just constantly pushing. But like I said, the fruits of my labor, man, I thank God that I am in the position that I am in, so I can help people. Trust me, I wish I didn't have to go through what I went through. But at the end of the day, who does want to go through something like that? But people always be like, oh, I want a testimony. I want a testimony. And I say, do you really want a testimony? I'm like, because testimony comes with a test,
I think that's important too, brother, when you bring that up. Because I love your joy. I love your energy, right? And I'm an energy-driven person. All of us are. So, it's refreshing. It really is, because usually I'm the one that's off the wall. So, it really is refreshing, bro. I can really dig that. I'm usually the one that's bouncing off the walls, bro. So, I want to really take a pause for the cause and just shout out some individuals and our community sponsors. The Bros and Wine 4C are really excited about our collaboration with Drive Shack and the opportunity to expose our youth to new things through the sport of golf. Since October of 2020, the YM4C Golf Development Program has served over 100 youth ages 7 to 17 through interactive learning sessions, aligning golf with life skills, positive conversation while enjoying a meal. Now, this program provides pro-social activities, positive peer association, and consistent male support to mitigate risk factors of antisocial behaviors and poor motivation. Shout out to Travis and all of the awesome staff at Drive Shack. We certainly appreciate all of your support. So if you're just checking into the bro code, we're chopping it up with Beast Mode MotiVatior, my man, Coach Low. Now, Coach Low overcame the adversity of obesity that led to March 14th of 2019, the day that he had a widowmaker heart attack. Bro Kirk, what you got, man?
So everybody on the screen is servant leaders at heart, and they say that pictures are worth thousands of words. And so we did our research, and Coach Lowe, we got a couple of pictures that we think speak to your service mentality. We're going to put them on the screen, and we really want to kind of hear what was going on in the picture. So.
And this first one, man, we just want to give credit where credit is due. So we're going to take a pause for the cause just to clap it up and celebrate Coach Lowe, man. Like, I get this, bro. Like, I really get this, and, we talk about, evolving in that butterfly effect. But, talk to me, man, like in 30 words or less, Lowe. Let me get your feelings or expression. Like, when you look at this, man, like, I got to be honest with you, Lowe, I have a pair of size 62 pants. Hear me well, not the speed limit, but waist size. 62 pants that I used to wear, bro. And I do push-ups on them. Right? It keeps me grounded. It keeps me understanding that, right? So talk to me about, man, like, is there something like that for you? Talk to me about that.
Honestly, when I see pictures like this that I post online or whatever, it's almost an emotional thing to look back at it, to see where I came from and where I'm at now. And the reason I say that is because it's almost like I can't even believe the one on the left is me, And then and what people don't realize is you could lose a whole lot of weight and you still in your mind feel like you're that bigger person. And it takes a long time for that mental shift to take place, because I found myself still thinking that I was the bigger person and I wasn't.
That's right.
But right. It's kind of emotional when I look at pictures of myself now, but that's something that I preach to people that I actually help is I'm like, look, it's important to take pictures. It's important to do videos of yourself while you're on your journey, so you actually can keep your own self motivated and remember where you came from.
That's it. Accountability, man, and having that self-accountability plays a huge part. And how can I embrace this thing called love until I understand it for myself first? Until I've tasted what I would assume it to be. So that way, when I'm in the presence of it, I know. So anyway, man, I definitely can dig that, man. I love me more. I definitely can dig that. What about this one, man? I thought this one was pretty dope. We call ourselves kings all the time.
Oh man, so this is actually taken at my church. This is actually taken at my church. And I was like, what, how dope would that be just for me to take a picture with this crown on and this chair over here? And that's exactly the mindset that I was in when I took this picture. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring this king vibe at him right now. Bring this king vibe at him. So that's kind of
indeed.
That's kind of what this was.
I could dig that one, brother. And this last one, man, just from all of us being not just servant leaders, but wanting to leave legacy. That's what I saw in this picture.
And you know what? It's amazing that you have this picture in the group, because my son was the reason I started. You talk about legacy and all of that. Oh God, y'all guys got me getting teary out of here. But you talk about legacy. My son is the reason why I got started. I said I wanted to be around for my son. And I didn't just want to be around, but I wanted to be the strongest, healthiest, wisest, most positive person that I could be. My son is why I got started, and that's why I'm constantly taking pictures of me and him, so that way one day if I'm not here, you know what I'm saying, he can look back and say, this my dad. My dad got healthier because of me, and I'm thankful for that. He prolonged his life. God saw fit for him to stay around long enough to be here for me. And that's exactly what that's about for me. It's about legacy.
How does that translate into how your son lives? Like, you have him not drinking sodas and, staying away from Happy Meals. Like, how has his lifestyle now changed as a result of the things that you've gone through?
Well, the thing about it is, he's between, his mom and I, or whatever. But why he knows why he's with dad, it's a certain type of it's a certain type of lifestyle that he gonna have, and he knows when he goes over to his mom, he can, it's a certain type of lifestyle I have over there, But I know that at the end of the day, I'm ingraining, what he needs to do on the inside of him. So those seeds could actually grow. They say train up a child in the way that they should go. And when they old, they won't depart from it. At least I'm giving him the tools that he needs. And, he's intelligent enough to kind of hold on to that stuff. Because what's interesting is, he'll come over here to me and I say, so son, what you want for dinner? He'll start naming things like, well, broccoli and grilled chicken and da. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but that ain't what you really want to say.
No, that's what's up. Well, we spend a decent amount of time asking you questions, right? And this is the time of the show where we generally give the guests and those watching, an opportunity to flip the script. And so if there's something that's on your mind, something you want to ask any of the folks or all of us for one, a question, this is your moment, Lo, to shoot that out.
Is this my time to ask you guys a question?
It's your time. Your turn to flip the script.
So like I said earlier in this conversation, how did you guys even find me? That's the crazy part, because I'm sitting up here like, I just do what but I've always heard, and Eric Thomas is really one of my, big people when it come down to, but he always said, you do it for the love of doing it. You don't do it just for the, income or any of this. You do it because you feel like this is something you call to do. So this is why I do what I do. And I tell you, I get up every morning and do these videos or whatever, you guys have seen it. But I was like, I post them online, try to be as motivational and inspirational as I can. But I was like, when Brother Troy hit me up, I was like, how did he even find me? Like, I don't know. So that's one of the questions I guess I would have posed to you guys. Like, how did I even come across your lap?
Well, energy-driven person. I speak for me. So I reached out to you. One, I'm a very energy-driven person. I've gotten to a place where I watch, before I move. And your story reflected great with mine. Like, for those that don't know, the fellas, they hate when here we go. Right? Here we go, right? But for those that may not be aware of my weight loss journey is somewhat similar, man. I used to weigh 475 though. So, God took over half of me to make me whole. And, when you talk about a life-changing experience, and my motivation to this point, yours was your son, mine is my daughter, right? So again, I didn't know we don't know the minute nor the hour, right? We don't know how much time we had, but however much time that was, I wanted to live life differently. I wanted to live life in a different manner. And my moment of reflection came through weight. I was huge. And, I had to start going through that process. So I really reflected with the story, to your point, to answer your question. Your story reflected with me. And I wanted to see, man, is this dude really like this all the time? and you stay on 12. I thought I stayed on 12. No, you stay on 12. So I appreciate the energy, man. And I wanted to see that plus the conversation that we were having speaks volume. I knew you would be a great addition and an added layer to that conversation. So I appreciate your story.
Yeah, I second that. The energy was certainly something I wanted to see for myself as well. Plus, it's good to get another, ball brother online. I don't share in the weight loss journey yet. I'm probably going in the reverse direction, but it's cool to hear your story.
It's for me, one thing that I'm really keen on is your laugh and your tonality, your voice. I can really tell, man, brother, that you're childlike in your life. You know what I mean? You're literally you're high energy and you're happy. And I think sometimes as adults, we get so wrapped up in all the other things, we forget how we used to be and how happy we could be. But really, man, kudos to you, because I know that not only are the people impacted that you're working with, it's the people who are just watching and never say a word, that they still see it. They see the work, they see the journey, and it inspires people, man, because I would say personally, I think it's probably one or two the hardest thing in our lives to do is to be healthy and take care of our bodies. And so when you see people doing it, I think it's inspiring, man. So just appreciate the work you're doing, bro.
Well, Kurt, I really appreciate you saying that. I really do. And I'm the reason I appreciate you saying that so much is I've gone through a lot of my life that I don't even talk about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say I don't talk about it, but I don't put it out there in the social media world. I'm from a little small town area, you know what I'm saying? A little small town area down in South Carolina, where ain't nothing to see cornfields and cotton and none of that kind of stuff, as you driving down the road. But then, I've been through, I've been married, I've been divorced, you know what I'm saying? I've had, a whole lot of life things to hit me. So I really could have been one of those kind of people that was that negative Nelly, that roll over and, let life keep rolling over me. I'm just going to keep rolling. And, everything is woe is me. I could have been that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? I could have been that kind of person, but that's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when you really know who you are, it changes your whole viewpoint on things. You know what I'm saying? When you start doing positive affirmations, you start speaking word, you start realizing the power of your words. I am this, I am that. It changes a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And with me, that's one of the main things I always kept really paid attention to what I said out of my mouth. I didn't want to speak no self, contaminating myself or self-damnation or anything like that amongst myself. One thing I did want to share with you guys, I didn't get a chance to share just real quick. I think the stuff after my heart attack is really what is the most influential for me. Because like I said to you guys, I went through a whole bunch of emotions after the heart attack happened. I'm sitting up in the bed recovering after everything or whatever. I was hurt. I was not hurt, heart attack wise, but hurt just it's like I felt like I couldn't trust my heart anymore. Even after, what I'm saying, I went through, I was like, man, working out was my life. That was my outlet. And now here it is. It seems like that's been snatched away from what I went through. What am I going to do now? You know what I'm saying? Whole range of emotions, hurt, confused, felt defeated. It was a whole lot of different things that I felt as a man, as a black man, especially. We don't talk about these kind of things. We ain't no punk. We ain't going to talk about how we feel. You know what I'm saying? But me now, whole different 180-degree turn. I talk about how I feel all day because I know how important it is. But, I went to cardiac rehab after the heart attack, and going to cardiac rehab is really what opened the door for me to know that I needed a defibrillator. Because when I heard the word defibrillator, first thing I thought about, I ain't no old person. That's something that old people get, a defibrillator. They ain't finna get nothing like that. But then that's like, no. It was like what happened is something called an ejection fraction. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it before. What an ejection fraction is basically your heart pumps out, and keeps some blood in it, but it pumps out. You know what I'm saying? The average person ejection fraction is probably about 60% because it leaves 40 in and pumps 60 out. My ejection fraction was only operating at 25%, guys. That's the damage that the heart attack did to me. So when I heard this right here, it triggered something here. Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm about to die. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if the average person is performing at 60 and I'm only performing at 25, what does that say about me? You know what I'm saying? So, but then next thing you know, they was like, so we're gonna get you a defibrillator if you're with it. They said, look at it as you got your guardian angel with you, and you got it in case something happens. If you need it, you got it, but if you don't need it, you good. And I'm talking about the first day I went into cardiac rehab, guys, I was so afraid to even go into cardiac rehab. To take that first step to even do cardiac rehab, I told my person that was working with me in cardiac rehab, I said, look, man, I said, you probably one of the best people they got, and no shade to you or anything like that. I said, but I don't even know if I could take the first step, because the first task was for me to walk around the inside track as fast as I could so they could time it, to know where I'm starting from. And I said, no shade to you, man, but I don't even know if I can do that. I said, I'm afraid to take the first step. I said, just like I said, I told her, I was like, I don't even know if I could trust my heart again. How can I take the first step? She was like, look, you're in the best place you could be in if something happened. We got you. It's a whole bunch of nurses and stuff in here. So I had to trust this lady. So I could take that first step. But like I said, the only question I really had for you guys was I wouldn't know how y'all kind of came across me or whatever.
Well, we certainly appreciate you, brother. The story you just shared, Lo, I want you to understand this, man. The story that you just shared, the energy that you put behind it. Oftentimes, things happen for us, not for us, but to inspire and to encourage others. I too had to really understand that why, because I was in a sunken place. I get it, until I understood why and found out more about why those things happened to me, and then saw the fruits of the labor. So I commend you, brother. Now, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My man, Coach Laylo. Please go follow the great things that this young man is doing at Coach_Laylo on Instagram. Now, this is just part one of this great conversation, y'all. We want you guys to join us next week for part 2 of I Love Me More Wellness Series. We'll be chopping up with yoga guru, wellness champion, and invisible illness advocate, Dr. Brittany Cofield Poole. Please follow the great things that she's doing as well. So tune in next Sunday, September the 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Bro Code Show. And please go follow us on Instagram at Bro Code Show, as well as follow us and take a look at all of the great conversations that we have going on YM4C TV. As always, I appreciate the bros for another great night. Thank you guys again and guests for coming through, man. Lo, love you like cooked food, bro. We thank all of the listeners that are watching for your support. And as always, we want to end the show with a positive quote. Tonight's no different. And the quote reads, rest and self-care are so important. When you take time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve from the overflow. So you can't serve from an empty vessel. It's your boy, Bro Troy, a.k.a. Mr. YM4C, but better known as Coach TJ. And we are the Bro Code.